Welcome to Watching Wyrd, where the weird, the wonderful, and the downright terrifying collide. I'm your host, Hadley Thorne, and tonight, Alan, Scott, Rich, and I will be diving deep into the world of cult classic horror. We've got a spooky lineup that's sure to send shivers down your spine. First up, we're going to revisit the classic 80s horror flick, Fright Night. Remember that creepy neighbor who turned out to be a vampire? We're talking about the one with the killer lines and the even cooler hair. Yeah, and next up, we're venturing into the twilight zone with Near Dark. Picture a family of vampire nomads roaming the American West, and you get the gist. It's a neo Western horror film that's as stylish as it is terrifying. And finally, we're continuing our journey through the Apple TV series Bad Monkey. It is a wild ride of corruption, crime, and a whole lot of weirdness. It's like Miami Vice meets the Big Lebowski with a little touch of horror. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and get ready for a night of cinematic mayhem. And let's dive into the spooky world of horror together. Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody.
Hey, Mike.
I like that intro.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
Mike.
gonna try and do it every week so we can kind of have that out of the way. We can just get into the dirt.
Hi, Mike.
Get into the dirt. Yeah, that's a good intro. Hey, Landa. Oh,
Hey,
you are on
Landa.
time. Good job. Good
Awesome.
job. Kudos to everybody that's here on time.
Yeah.
I tried to get
There we
everything
go.
set up in a timely manner tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least I'm on time
Kudos to you,
tonight.
Hadley.
I'm Hadley Vincent,
Kudos.
vampire hunter.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was in such esteemed company with you two
I
tonight.
know, right?
Yes. We're like vampire.
Rich couldn't make it tonight.
No.
Yeah, Rich couldn't make it tonight. He had an issue with his pup.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're gonna trudge on without him tonight.
Oh, hell.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Tony's, Landa, and Mike are here. Who else do we need?
That's it. It's a party.
That's right.
Party.
Okay, so I have to. Who's going to go first with what movie?
Well, since you started with Fright Night, I'll go first with Fright Night.
Okay. Before we get started with Fright Night, I have to make a comment I have been holding my breath all week to say.
Yeah.
If there was a character in a movie that was ever made for Scott Baker, Peter Vincent Vampire Hunter is the guy.
Thank you.
I was like, oh my God, it's Scott. It's like him. I can just see him being this character with all his little school children.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Hey, Ash.
if I suck my school children after a vampire, he would run into the sunlight. Trust me. No, I only say that about there's only a handful of them that would drive the vampire insane. Most of the kids I deal with are awesome.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good to hear.
All right. Well, I won't steal your thunder anymore, Peter Vincent. Let's go.
All right. If you have not seen the original 1985 Fright Night, shame on you. That is one of the best vampire. It's in my top 5 vampire movies. The remake it pales by comparison. The movie stars William Ragsdale as Charlie Brewster. He lives next door to this house that's been vacant for a while, and the movie opens. He's trying to get it on with his girlfriend Amy, played by Amanda Bierce, and we all know Amanda Bierce from Married with Children. And she finally comes around one day, but when she starts to like, okay, I'm ready, he gets obsessed with the next door neighbor who moves in, which is Chris Sarandon, Jerry Dandridge, and his familiar, probably boyfriend, Jonathan Stark, played by Billy Cole. And he watches them bring a coffin into the house. And he's like, why are they bringing a coffin into the basement? And then like the next day, a hooker shows up. And she goes into the house. And in the middle of the night, he hears screaming. And he watches and she never reappears. So he is... Huh? Oh, So he is convinced that Dandridge is a vampire, and the movie progresses from there. He becomes very paranoid. His girlfriend Amy, and his best friend Evil Ed, played by Stephen Joffreys, are so worried that they go to Peter Vincent, played by the great Roddy McDowall. Rocks this role. He is a horror movie veteran. He used to do, like Peter Cushing. He used to do Peter Vincent. I just figured that out. He did all these vampire hunter movies, and now he runs a horror TV show. So they go to him and they convince him to come over. They talk to Dandridge and convince him. So they come over and they perform a series of tests to prove that Dandridge is not a vampire, to calm down Brewster. The only thing is, at the end, where they're all talking, he opens up, Peter Vincent opens up a case with a mirror and doesn't see his reflection. And then he knows, oh my God, I'm actually dealing with a vampire. I saw this movie when it first came out. I liked it. I saw it a couple of years ago. It was fun, but I'm watching it the other night, and I realized how brilliant this movie was. Chris Sarandon he's like he's a very sexy vampire in this one, but he has an air of bisexuality to him. There's a scene where like he's with Cole and they're hugging each other, but there's one scene where he goes after this one male character, and it's almost like a seduction. You like him. You like him as a vampire. He's cool. You want to see him dead, but you like him as a vampire because he's cool. The other thing that just got me this time was Amanda Bierce, for the first half of the movie, is this virgin who doesn't want anything. She's very shy, anything beyond kissing. Then there's the scene when Chris Sarandon, Dandridge, starts to not seduce her, but glamour her in a nightclub. And she goes from being this virginal high school student. I mean, her entire character goes into complete hot slut mode. And it was brilliant. I couldn't believe how well she did that. And the ending is great, because up until the ending, there's some tension, there's some suspense. You sort of know what's going on. But once they break into the house to actually save Amanda Bierce and kill the vampire, this movie now becomes a complete horror fest. The special effects and the makeup are phenomenal. For 1985, it's one of the best vampires you'll see. What happens to certain people is just gruesome, gory, and I loved it. And the way they eliminate, the way they eliminate the vampire, because I'm not giving away anything. Vampires don't live. The way they eliminate the vampire is very unique. I think this is a very underrated movie. It is well written, superbly acted. The tension builds throughout the whole thing until you get to the end, and then it's just one huge action fest. If you have not seen this one, definitely watch it. It is it's in my top 5 vampire movies. What do you guys think?
Well, first off,
Can I
let's
go?
clarify
Oh,
this is the 85 version.
85 version.
yes.
Do
Yes.
not
Yeah.
watch. I was so pissed
No.
off when I watched the other version, because Peter Vincent, nobody knew what a horror movie host was. So he's a magician based out of Las Vegas.
All right, Alan.
Go ahead, Hadley. Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I was just gonna say that this it should not. The 85 version of this film was the first time you ever saw anything like this. You had the old school 60s Hammer vampire movies, and then they rolled this together like with the current, like what you were seeing with like Lost Boys, I guess, and that sort of thing. So it really, and Chris Sarandon at the time was, excuse my language, hot shit. I mean, he was a phenomenal actor, and for him to accept this role was really kind of unexpected. So you've got a top tier actor playing in this horror movie, and then you have Roddy McDowall, who, if any, I mean, I know I watch old movies, but Roddy McDowall was a big deal back in the 60s and 70s, probably the 50s and
Literally.
maybe even the 40s. Yeah. um, so this movie really did just kind of set a different tier for horror movies. And I think it came out in '85, so I wasn't even in high school yet, but I remember seeing this movie and loving it. And, I mean, you've got the best friend getting turned, and then, you just felt bad for the kid. I mean, you just felt bad for Evil, that was his name, and again,
Evil Ed.
there's gonna be spoilers because, again, it's '85, if you hadn't seen this, I mean, shame on you. But I just really like this film. It's not my favorite. It's probably not even my top 5 because vampires are like, that's my genre I really like. But I would say it's definitely in the top 10. Um, Rewatching it was great, and I even like the Colin Farrell version, which is the one that happened more recently,
Oh, me
just
too.
because I like Colin Farrell. And it had, what's the guy he plays the demon in?
David Tennant.
Yeah, David Tennant. He's
Yes,
in the
David
new one.
Tennant. Yeah.
And it's good too, but it doesn't touch on this because this just had a
No.
magical cast. The cast was really well done. And yes, I
Yeah.
saw what Ash was saying earlier about Marcy Darcy, and I cannot look at that lady and not think of Marcy Darcy.
I know.
But again, phenomenal. It's just a great group.
Yeah.
And I had to step away for a minute, so you might have already mentioned what a great job the mother did.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
mother, Charlie's mom, is just in her own little world because she doesn't recognize any of the stuff that's going on. And it was just great. So I'm a huge fan of this movie and I really liked it. I enjoyed watching it this week, and I'm gonna slide on over to Alan.
Oh, Rich Restucci is in the house tonight, folks. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Where?
He is here. He
Where?
is here. I don't know. He just messaged me, said he's here. He'll do the comic relief tonight.
Well, where is
So
he?
he's
He'll
I don't
probably
know.
join in a minute.
Ah,
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh,
there
there
he
he is.
is.
He's trying to come on. Oh, there he is. Hey, Rich.
Hey,
Yay.
everybody, sorry I'm late.
Yay.
Rich.
Hi.
Hey,
We're
better
just
late
glad
than
you
never.
made it.
Yes.
How's your dog?
Huh?
How's your dog?
He's okay. He has an infected anal gland. This is like his
Ooh.
5th time. And it's like it got to be like the size of a baseball yesterday.
Oh.
Lucky me, it burst last night, so I had blood and pus all over the house. It was great. Took him into the
Look
vet
good,
today,
though.
and they gave him some drugs, some antibiotics, and some painkillers, and some anti-inflammatory. So he's
So
good.
he's probably now sound asleep and happy.
He is happy actually. He's been happy all day because I don't think he's pain free, but it hurts less. So I still get to put warm compresses right on his butthole. So that's great for me.
Nice. Anal gland tips from Rich.
You're such a good dog dad.
Yeah, he's a good dog though. So
You could have your own YouTube channel.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone would want to watch me put a hot compress on my dog's butthole.
I would watch because I know nothing about that, and sometimes you just have to do it for your puppy.
Okay. He's
Okay.
fat and happy, just like me.
Well, we were talking about Fright Night,
Okay.
and Alan was about to go. So, Alan, then Rich.
Go.
I love this movie. You got a vampire named Jerry Dandridge. I mean, how cool is that? You know, that's not a scary name. You know, that's a swinger's name there. You know,
And he kind of was like a
party at
swinger,
Jerry's
wasn't he?
place. Yeah. Well, yeah. none of these people except for Chris Sarandon you really see anymore. You know, Amanda Beers, she made it big with Married with Children, but you know, you don't see William Ragsdale. I think the last time I saw him was on Justified, and that was like season 3 or 2 or something like that. You know, he played Winona's ex-husband. But
I see
and
Charlie a lot. What do I see Charlie in?
I, really, I see. I saw him. He probably does.
Definitely
Maybe he does a
Ragsdale.
lot of series, but I haven't seen him since Justified.
Let me
Stephen
look it up.
Jeffries.
I'm looking him up right now.
Stephen Jeffries.
I'm
You
looking
should
it
have.
up
He
too.
should have been bigger than he was. You see him at conventions all the time, but you know, he was in a few horror movies, but I don't think he was in a whole lot.
Let's
But
see.
he was great.
He was
He
in Renfield. He was in The Equalizer. He was in Knock at the Cabin. He was in We Crashed, Younger, The Blacklist, Blackish, Blue
Not
Bloods. Yeah,
don't
this is
remember
Well,
William
I'm
him in
wrong.
Ragsdale.
Cabin.
I'm wrong. Mark this date down. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I
I'm sure it's
just
not
don't
the first
recognize him
time,
a lot.
Alan. We'll ask
Yeah,
Tina
ask
later.
my wife. Yeah,
Oh, by
ask
the
Tina.
way, everyone in the house and Rich Restucci, we have been given carte blanche to give Alan a hard time by Tina.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
So-
it's like every other Thursday.
No,
yeah.
no.
She was.
Oh, no,
We have
she
been
was-
given the official. We have been given the official. We can fuck with him.
We need to double our fucking with him.
Yeah, she showed up for a little bit before the show and gave
Sorry, I
him the
missed him.
keys to my heart. But yeah, I love this movie. It's great. It's practical effects. It's not something you see, and it, you know, a lot of us grew up with horror TV host. You know, so this was
Elvira?
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elvira, Bob Wilkins,
The Crypt Keeper.
guys
Yeah,
you have on the
pretty
East
much.
Coast.
The ghoul.
You know, yeah. So that was really cool how they mashed that together. And you know, the name Peter Vincent, you know, Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, great. You know, that's just awesome. And you have what's his name's in it too? Christopher Lee, right? He plays Dracula in archive footage of it. So that's great. They're able to get, you know, all the greats referenced or shown or whatever. But I love this movie. It's great, a lot of fun. Evil Ed upstages a lot of it. The remake I liked because Colin Farrell's such a damn good actor. You know, and David Tennant's a
Wait.
lot of fun. I mean, he
So
played like
that's the
Chris
one you
Angel
watched.
as a
Wait,
vampire
I'm so
hunter.
confused.
Yeah,
So you
that
didn't
one's
watch the
fun.
old one.
No.
watch
I watched
the
the
old
old one. No,
Okay.
I'm just talking about. I like. You know, we're talking about the sequel. Everybody hates it, but I liked
I
it.
don't hate it.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good.
It
too.
wasn't. It wasn't Fright Night. It wasn't Fright Night.
No.
You know, but it was a good little vampire movie. And Anton, you know, Yelchin, he was great in it. You know, he played he played a great Charlie Brewster character. You know, because he used to play worried, neurotic, really good. You know, and so I thought he did Charlie Brewster pretty good. I like that one, but I do love Fright Night. I recommend it to
Fright Night was
everybody.
the original. It was.
Right, right. And Chris Sarandon makes a cameo appearance in the remake. He gets killed by Colin Farrell. A great
didn't know
great
that.
scene, you know.
I'll have to rewatch
So
that.
and you know, Chris Sarandon, he did a couple of other horror movies. He did Chucky. He was in the Chucky movies.
Mhm.
Um,
Off
and just
topic, but
Chucky.
not. I heard the new Chucky's really good.
Well,
I
you know,
would
he's
never
in the
know.
and the guy that wrote this and directed Fright Night did the Chucky movies.
Hmm.
Tom Holland.
Oh.
So he brought Chris Sarandon with him. So that's kind of cool. But that's my 2 cents, Rich.
Yeah, man. This is a great film. A great flick. It was one of my favorites as a kid, and it doesn't have great special effects, but it's got good ones. And one of the really good ones was when, I mean, I shouldn't say really good, but I like the werewolf. When Evil Ed gets the stake through him and he's crawling away, and you really feel sad for him because I mean, he was kind of a loser. He beat up all the time, whatever. Takes the vampire's hand, becomes a vampire, and he's dead like the next day. So it just kind of sucks for poor Evil Ed. But that werewolf scene was pretty cool because you felt really bad for him. You know, I mean, he's there, he's dying, and Peter Vincent's like, should I help him? I don't want to help him because he's gonna kill me, and of course he has to let him die. But it was sad. and that was probably my favorite scene. That and when the first time Peter, Jerry Dandridge shows up in William Ragsdale's room, Charlie Brewster's room, and he just like flips up that thing, the window that he nailed down. I thought that was pretty cool, the way they had done that too. And the vampire himself, the actual like the prosthetics in the vampire, they were pretty good. Best part of the movie, his fingers.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had
Oh,
that
yeah.
little extension on his fingers that make his fingers an extra inch long, and it was really, really cool. It was just creepy, and it wasn't like it was like an over the top special effect to do. It was just pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And I thought they nailed it. And I loved this movie. This was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it.
Well, now that you mentioned it, and I'm gonna go back to like when the, um, Peter, Vincent, and Charlie are on the staircase, and you have Jerry the vampire come walking with the nails, his fingernails tracing. That's a really creepy thing, and it's
It is.
again, it's one of those. It's very underrated.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It's just the fact that he's got like murder nails.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And
There's a lot of heart to this movie.
and I love the fact that the way I'm right. The way they killed Dandridge was unique. The only other time I had seen that done was Peter Cushing, Horror of Dracula.
You mean using sunlight to kill him?
Yes.
Well, this was a really good way to introduce the old school Hammer type vampires to the Gen X kids.
And it just dawned on me that Peter Vincent's outfit looked a lot like the one Peter Cushing wore.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
is.
Well,
Yeah.
it was. I think that was on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wink and a nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was great.
No.
Yeah. I love this movie. I think it's very underrated. I think it probably revived the vampire genre.
But did it really ever die? I mean,
Yes.
come on.
After
No.
Franklin Jella.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. 'Cause then, I mean, we had this. Frank Langella was what, like 79?
70.
Yeah. Something like. Yeah.
This was 85. And then you had The Lost Boys, and then you had Near Dark, which we're about to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just changed. The vampire genre just changed after Frank Langella. Was no more little ruffled cape wearing vampires. The vampires got a different look, and I mean, it really brought the vampire genre into the 20th century. I don't know.
And they didn't say blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. I didn't say blah blah blah. You ever watch Castle Transylvania or Hotel Transylvania or whatever? I didn't say blah 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 blah.
Adam Sandler as a vampire.
Oh, God.
Yep.
So, guys,
Oh,
where do
that's
you
great.
get it?
Well, I give it a 5.
I'll give it a 5.
Yeah, I got nothing but 5s for this. This is great.
I'm gonna give it a 5 too, kids. So there you go.
Wow. Yeah. It's one of the few movies that's gotten 20. Nice.
Yeah.
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 I
I
hope
love that
someone
movie.
somewhere is keeping up with how we rate these movies, because I don't. All right. So, who is doing Near Dark?
I'll do it unless you got something up for it, Rich. Do you have something?
No,
up
go
for
ahead. Take it. I was late to the show, so you do it.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm quite sure.
You sure?
Take it.
Okay. 1987's Near Dark, directed by Catherine Bigelow, who did Zero Dark 30 and a lot of other action movies. This is a Western. It follows a family of vampires that travel across the Southwest in an RV and vehicles they can steal and hide in. I think they're Civil War era vampires. Adrian Pasdar from Top Gun and Solar Babies. He should have been a bigger actor, I think. Anyway, plays Caleb Colton, a local cowboy who picks up Jenny Wright, who plays May, at night. And she turns out to be a vampire, and she bites him. and she just nips. It looks like she just nips him, but he becomes vampire, and so he is taken under the wing of Jenny Wright, Lance Henriksen, who's the leader of this clan, Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, and Joshua John Miller, the other vampires. And it's funny because about a fifth of the characters from Aliens is in this movie. Yeah. It's great. And there's a scene where Caleb's stumbling. He's turned into a vampire and he's stumbling through town.
Yep.
He walks by a movie theater and on the marquee is playing Aliens. Yeah. It's great. It's great. But yeah. But this is just a vampire western, as you know, Adrian Pasdar is trying to figure out what's happening to him. Oh, there goes Rich.
No, I'm here.
And are you taking your pants off now? Or
yes, again.
So this clan of vampires, they're ruthless. There's a scene where they attack a bar, which is great because it's set to John Parr's Naughty Naughty song from the 80s. If anyone remembers that song, it's a great song. And it's a bloody, it's a well done scene. It really is. So Adrian Pasdar's dad, Tim Thomerson, who's a B-movie king. If you ever seen, I can't remember all the movies he's in, but he's just this B-movie actor that you've probably seen in every horror movie. I'm trying to think. But anyway, he's looking for his son. He's a veterinarian. He's looking for Caleb. He tracks Caleb down, and the clan tries to kill Caleb's family, his sister and his dad. They escape. The dad does a blood transfusion on Caleb, which cures his vampirism. And then they kidnap Caleb's daughter because Homer is a little boy, like in an Interview with a Vampire. He's a little boy body, but he's an adult male in this little boy's body because he's been a vampire for a couple hundred years. So he wants Caleb's sister for a mate. So Caleb goes after him, kills everybody with the help of May. I'm going to give spoilers because the movie was made in 87. If you haven't seen it yet, shame on you. They kill all the vampires with the help of May. Then May, they give her a blood transfusion. She turns it back into a human, and they live happily ever after. This movie started off really slow. It starts off really slow, and the dialogue between Caleb and May is really bad. I mean, they're flirting and everything, and Caleb's a little bit salty on her, and it's just kind of uncomfortable. It's kind of cringy, that part. But then once he turns into a vampire, everything starts rolling, and I think the movie just finds its speed, and it continues all the way through. I think it's a pretty good movie. I don't think it's as good as Fright Night.
No,
but it's got a great cast: Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, Lance Henriksen, Jenny Wright, who was big in the 80s, and she just kind of disappeared. She's in a lot of movies. St. Elmo's Fire, a bunch of movies you probably saw if you were around in the 80s watching movies. No, it's not a bad flick. It just the beginning of it's kind of cringy, but then it just moves past it. What do you guys think?
All right, I'll jump in. It is very cringy. I agree, because they're unusual as vampires. They're bullies. Yeah. They don't just attack the victim and drink their blood like 30 Days of Night. I mean, that scene in the bar was it was disturbing. The way they tormented and tortured each one of their victims. Bill Paxton played a great butthole. I mean, that's one of his greatest roles. He was perfect in that. Lance Henriksen was good. I liked him as just the master of the whole clan. I never recognized, though, his wife until I watched this movie again. And then it was just like, holy crap, that's Vasquez from Aliens. You know who else I think did a really good job as the vampire? The little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was psychotic. And I liked the fact that Caleb was struggling. He loved the girl. He wanted to be with her. He didn't want to be killed, but he couldn't bring himself to be a vampire.
Yeah.
The scene in the bar was great, and I think the ending scene that always sticks with me. It's phenomenal. The little kid vampire just, sacrificing himself because he wants the girl back. And Lance Henriksen and his girlfriend there just, we've lost everything. Let's do it.
Well, she kind of dies like she did in Aliens. She grabs his arm and they go for it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's not one I would watch again for a long time. But if you're a vampire fan, it's worth watching once. I think it's very unique for its genre.
Yeah. Rich?
I love this movie. More so when I was younger. I thought it was excellent. I thought that, first of all, it's got the cast of Aliens, so that's a win.
Yeah.
It was a little harder to get through this time because, like you said, Alan, there was a lot of their dialogue at the beginning. I was like, really? I didn't remember a lot of that. I remember what happened and how it happened, but I didn't remember the dialogue itself. And that was, last time I saw it was probably, I don't know, 95 maybe. And it was great. But now that you look at what comes out now and since then versus that, it was a B movie. I mean, you're not going to see Tim Thomerson in an A movie. So,
No.
But, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There are a few things I would have done differently. I would have had, more of those bar scenes, I think, because that was, I mean, hands down the best scene in the movie. That and the shootout was pretty good too. But I wanted to like it a lot more than I did this time because it was really nostalgic for me. It was a movie I saw with my dad when I was younger, and we both loved it. It was great, and it just kind of, I don't want to say that it fell flat, but it just wasn't nearly as good as I wanted it to be. It was still decent.
Yeah.
10 years ago, or even Monday before I had watched it again, I would have given this a 5. But I'm not going to rate it that high this time, or not as high as a 5. If you haven't seen this movie, like Alan said, shame on you. You should have seen this movie already. This is something that came out, 40 years ago almost, and at the time it was high grade B movie stuff. It was top notch. But again, there are a few scenes that I would like to see this movie remade. Actually, I think if they remade this movie with some good actors and because it was a bit of a cult classic, they could get a good spin on it. And get some decent writing in there, it would do really well.
Rich just stole my line.
What did I do?
You stole my line.
I stole your line? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were doing lines. Anyway. So again, a film I really wanted to like more than I did this time. But if you haven't seen it, you need to drop what you're doing right now and go watch it.
Ash, I think it's on Tubi.
I don't know.
I checked it on Plex and it didn't say it was on Tubi. Let me look.
It's on Pluto. I think it's on
Pluto.
Like
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Pluto's a free service if you don't.
Is it my turn, or is Rich still going?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm finished.
Okay. This is not my favorite, and I'll tell you why. Because you could take this movie and it could very easily be a family of serial killers, and Rob Zombie would do it better. So that was my line, was that Rob Zombie should remake this movie, and it's going to be much better. But
But you gotta leave that John. You gotta leave that John Parr song in there, though. You gotta leave that John Parr song in there.
Maybe Rob Zombie can redo it. No. I didn't love it, and I love vampire movies, but I'll say this: it was a very different take. It's a dark, intriguing take on the vampire genre, but it wasn't as fresh and as captivating as I think it could have been, which is why I compare it to Rob Zombie stuff. Rob Zombie stuff is kind of gritty and dirty, and it makes me feel like I need to take a bath when it's over.
Oh yeah.
But this movie just had a lot of violence, and it made me think of other movies like The Crazies or Strangers, or where you have like a family of serial killers who go in, and it just kind of had that same kind of vibe. And I'm not crazy about those movies, and that's kind of how I felt about this one. It was interesting that someone did this with vampires, but again, it just wasn't real vampire-y to me.
Had you seen this before?
Yeah, I've seen this. So it's just not my favorite. So I don't the love triangle or whatever, the love scene. I don't care for the that, and it just didn't. I didn't feel it.
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
I could see
Oh,
that.
that's okay.
I mean, I enjoyed this movie, but like, I hadn't seen it since probably '87, and I didn't remember how cringy that first 20 minutes is, or
Yeah.
whatever. And there's no chemistry between the two,
None.
really, but after that, once it gets rolling, I enjoyed it. Bill Paxton sold that movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Him
his
and Lance
character.
Henriksen really stole the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
Lance was
should have been
good.
more of them. Should have been more of them.
But that kid, I like the kid, the guy that played the kid, or the kid that played the kid.
The kid that
He
played
was
the
pretty
kid that
good
played the
too.
kid.
Homer. Yeah,
Huh?
I don't ever remember seeing him in anything else, actually.
He was in Better Off Dead.
Who
He
was
was
he
in
in
Better Off Dead. I believe he was.
If he was in
freaking
Better
could be
Off
wrong, 'cause
Dead,
I've been batting 0 tonight.
he would have had to have been the little brother or the paper delivery boy.
I was gonna say the paper delivery
Oh,
boy.
that's who it is.
I want my $2.
I think that's
I
who
want
it
my
is.
$2. I want my
Now I need to know. Is
$2.
anybody looking that up? You looking that up right now?
I am.
I'm looking it up. I don't see him in. He was in Halloween 3 season of the Witch. So
You're not missing anything. You might not see in that movie.
yeah, it looked like he stopped making movies in the 90s. Yeah. Oh wait, he was in The Wizard of Gore in 2007, and
And the
The Exorcism.
exorcism and
Yeah. So it looks like he had a big blank spot in the 2000s. So
he was in the
he's on a
Wonder
lot of
Year?
sitcoms. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
it
was
looked like
in
he
the
was in a lot
Rhythm
of
Nation
sitcoms.
video, or a short about the Rhythm Nation video.
But yeah.
Cagney and Lacey, Family Ties, Tales from the Dark Side, Greatest American Hero.
Greatest American Hero.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I have that song going through my
You're welcome.
Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me.
I did love that show.
They were gonna remake that. I'm glad they didn't.
No.
That one.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do we give it?
I'll give this one a 3. I want to give it a 4 or even a 5, but it just didn't get there this time. A lot of great scenes.
Yeah.
They needed to axe out some of the early stuff, like Alan was talking about, and some of the stuff in the middle too.
Rob Zombie.
Give it a 3.
The bar scene's iconic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
give it a 3.5 because of the John Parr song. The 0.5 is for the John Parr song. I love that song.
I'm going to give it a 3.75 because that really disturbing scene in the bar and the very dramatic ending.
I'll give it a 3 because everybody should watch this genre. I mean, it's how we keep these movies alive is by watching them. So everybody should watch it. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't for me. Again, Bill Paxton, it's a great role for him.
Yes.
And that's what I said about that.
All right. Right on. Right on. Well, it's your turn, boss.
All right. Well, it is time for a review of episode 3 of Bad Monkey, titled Slow Burn Wild Turn. So, episode 3 continues with Andrew Yancey's chaotic journey through the seedy, sweltering streets of the Florida Keys. As he digs deeper into the mysterious severed arm case, his detective work, if you can call it that, takes him from dodging corrupt officials to dealing with his sultry ex-girlfriend Eve. In this episode, we're introduced, or I think he's brought back as Neville, a doctor turned crook, made increasingly desperate because they are trying to take over his property. So he's the one with the monkey. We've got Yancey's offbeat charisma, which is carrying the show again with his detective noir with the Floridian eccentricities, and his banner, which Vince Vaughn's sharp. The moral compass is just crooked enough, and his chaotic energy keeps things entertaining. He's still trying to unearth the arm's secrets. And episode 3 just keeps building suspense with sprinklings of the dark humor and more oddball characters. This show is weird, twisted, and a fucking delight.
Yes.
I think episode 3, it really starts getting into its stride. It just keeps getting better. The pacing slows down enough to let the storyline breathe, but the tension's ramping up. I love this show. Like I said, I'm so glad we're doing it. Vince Vaughn is at his best as this washed up detective who somehow is both the least and most competent guy in the room. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
The
I don't want to
twist.
give too much
The
away.
twist this week. The twist
Yes.
this week. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You told us. You told us.
I'm trying not to tell because I'm up to date, but I love this show, and like I said, it just keeps getting better with each episode.
Yeah.
There's a big reveal,
Yes.
a very large
my
reveal,
God.
like a
That-
show-making reveal at the end
Yes.
of episode 3.
And that was so on. That if up to now I hadn't been dragged in, that just hooked me and dragged me in. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah. You didn't see that coming. And that
No.
character's been you're like, whoa. And seeing Zach Braff, it's nice to see him in something instead of a commercial.
And
that was great.
this was great because he usually plays such a clean cut kind of guy, and to see him play this seedy,
Addict, doctor.
yeah, addict, and, writing bad scripts, and it was just, and he did it so well. Yeah,
Yeah.
this show, the actors they've got playing in it is just great.
Yeah.
Ash says, I'm gonna put this up there. Ash loves Vince Vaughn. Oh, but then you couldn't watch it with us every week, Ash. That's just not the same. Oh, look who's here.
Hey, Max.
Max Crumb.
Hey,
Hello,
Max.
Max.
Nice to see you, man. He's probably out there cooking hot dogs and lost track of time.
Yeah, I know, right? Just
Anyway.
one hot.
Cooking hot dogs, or
Cooking hot dogs.
Be nice.
He cooks them for the neighborhood.
Benevolent Max Crumb. Hot dog lover extraordinaire.
I love Vince Vaughn in this. His one-liners, as the health inspector, he is hilarious in this movie. This is one of the best roles I've seen him in. But I'll tell you, one thing that's got me really hooked on this movie, other than the major plot, is the war between him and the realtor.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, and you know that every episode it builds up. What's going to happen in the final episode?
Right?
Yeah.
It's all coming to a head. Well, how many episodes are there of this? Do you know?
There's
How
5 out so far. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's either 8 or 10. I don't remember.
Usually there's 10, I think, on Apple.
Alexa, how many episodes of Bad Monkey are there?
Season 1 of Bad Monkey consists of 10 episodes.
10.
5
Okay.
episodes have
Thank
already
you.
aired, and there are 5 upcoming episodes. A total of 5
Alexa,
episodes
stop.
have
Bringing a robot. Shut up.
So I'm going to say this. I think that Apple has some of the best series out there. I mean, like, they just knock it out of the park a lot. But this one, and somebody had said they really liked. Oh, it was Ash talking about he loves Vince Vaughn. The great thing about this is
Hey,
this
Doc.
is Vince Vaughn at his best.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gets
Hey,
better
Doc.
in each episode, and I think that in I mean, yes, he's a great cinema actor, but you just don't get enough to really enjoy him. And I think that we're seeing what he can do in this role, and he's really just taking it to new heights.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He is. His
I know.
banter is great. And him and
I have
Natalie Mart. Him and Natalie
well,
Martinez are great together.
yes,
But-
and talk about fire. They are so hot. Their chemistry just crackles.
Yeah.
It's funny. This sister saying, "Is that the one you're gonna get the dick off of, or whatever? Get some dick from, or whatever."
Heather with the weather.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
What's
But
up
you
with
know,
that?
really-
What's up with that?
The really sad thing is, yes, that's what a lot of these weather girls are like. Just off topic, I was in California once. I was in Los Angeles, and there was the blonde weather girl just like her. And they were having like monsoons, and it was raining. And she's up there telling the weather and the flood reports. And somebody said, "You're awfully happy." She goes, "Of course I am." She says, "Usually my job is sunny, mild." She reminds me so much of that.
Well, what's going on with her though? She's missing now, right? So,
Oh,
and she's
so
been
you'll-
kind of,
Oh no, I'm not going to tell you because that just. I mean, I could tell you, but you wouldn't even believe it.
That gets explained.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And it's
It's an episode.
It's going to
I
be
gotta
real.
watch the
I
next
mean,
episode.
yeah, there's things you just don't see coming, just keep happening, just falling
Like the
falling
end
out
of
of the
the third
sky.
one. I
Yeah.
did dislike I can't remember his name, the guy that lost his house. What
Neville.
what he did in that episode turned me off to him.
Oh, what do you do?
You saw with the voodoo priestess.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, oh no, you deserve everything you get from here on in.
I don't know that voodoo priestess, the dragon lady. There's gonna be something coming up with her because I mean, I'm really interested to see where that storyline's going.
Yeah.
And his buddy and his police boss. There's something going on.
Yeah.
There's something going on there.
Yeah.
So
initially I thought they were in cahoots. Now I'm not so sure. I thought they were both going to be bad guys. Now I don't know. I think one of them might be a bad guy, but I don't know which one, because it really does seem like his partner cares about him but doesn't want to be around him, and it seems like the sheriff there doesn't like him and wants to get rid of him. So it would make a lot of sense if they switched those roles later on and his partner was a bad guy. But it just doesn't look that way right now. But that might be exactly what they're trying to do to me, because they like to do that to me. So
yeah,
I like to fall
don't
for
think
it.
so. I think that the partner and him have a genuine.
Me too. That's what I mean. I think that too. They have a genuine trust, and like I said, he loves him, but he doesn't want to be around him because he's kind of a dick. So
Yeah. Well, he just he's his own worst enemy.
yeah,
yeah.
agree.
And there's only so far you can go with someone like that.
You're talking Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And what
He
about
won't-
that
he w-
detective
Oh yeah.
when he took the mailbox and threw it? That guy.
Yeah, he's gonna rear his ugly head at some point. Bald head.
I like the partner. I really like the banter between them. It's how two close buddies would work together. I'm just wondering, I'm starting to get the vibe that while the sheriff is involved in something shaky, the partner might be part of it too.
Mm-mm. I just don't think so.
I
We'll
hope
see.
not.
There's too many other raveled threads.
Yeah.
that, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how. Now, as a writer, this drives me crazy because usually I can piece it together, but they keep introducing these plot twists that you just don't see coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you,
Oh,
I
Well,
mean, and if you're like me, you're wondering how the hell are they going to wrap all this together?
oh yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
they do.
When's the monkey?
I know. I thought the monkey would have a bigger role. What the heck?
Oh, he's going to have a bigger role. He's definitely going to have a bigger role. But you know, what I think is brilliant about the writing is they just keep on throwing stuff in, and rather than saying, "Oh, gee, that's ridiculous," you're like, "Wow." You know,
Yeah.
it's a fire that's going, and the writer just keeps on throwing in more logs.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the great thing I think that we're seeing is the writing in this show is effing phenomenal.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
Sure
as
will.
a writer, I'm just like sitting on pins and needles every week, and when the show's over, I want to binge watch it,
Yeah.
but I can't not watch it. It is
Or,
fire. It is so hot.
or even a little thing like the shirt shop that gal worked at, Chess Candy or whatever, and the shirts that are up there and stuff. And what's that shirt that, Vince Vaughn wanted to get a shirt that said, "I shaved my balls for this." That was great.
Well, yeah. See, that
Just
was
stuff
the other
like
thing.
that.
That was the other thing I liked. You know, his girlfriend's like, "Let's go in and talk to her." No, she's gonna run, and they went in and she
Yeah.
ran. And Vince Vaughn had tied up the gate out back, knowing what was going to happen.
Or the coffee,
got-
you take
Yeah.
it with 2 sugars, and no, I
Yeah.
don't. And later on, she's like, "Yeah, that's how I take it. I just didn't want to admit you were right." That.
He's
Yeah, it was a
brilliant
lot of
at his
fun.
job, but like I think Hadley said, he's his own worst enemy. He can't keep his mouth shut, which reminds me so much of me.
Yeah. Well, like that cop said, he's a great guy, but then he drags everybody down that's around with him, but he's a great guy, so, he's a good guy, but he's, like you said, he's his own worst enemy. Yeah. And he does it well.
Yeah, I think Vince Vaughn's one of the best actors of our day. I always have. He's got that deadpan sort of dumbass comedy, but he also plays a wicked bad guy. Was it Mark Wahlberg he was in a movie where he was a stepdad and he was a bad guy and he was great.
It was with Travolta. Was it with Travolta?
Can't remember. I just remember him being the bad guy, and the
It was
kid
like
knew
domestic something or something like that. I remember going to the movies and seeing that. Yeah.
Hang on, let me look
it
it
was a
up.
good flick.
Well, like I said, he's very underrated. I think this is my favorite thing I've seen him in, and I'm going to keep saying that every week. Sorry, just get used to it. Just write it down. Take a drink, whatever we're going to do. But he's just phenomenal in this, and there are times when he is. I love it when people can turn a phrase and it'll just hit you, and somebody else could deliver the same line and it's not going to hit you the same way. And that is something that Vince Vaughn has that Rich Restucci has. Rich can say things that no one else can say it the way, and it just is great.
I can.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll
There
take
you
that.
go. There you go, Vince. Vince
Yeah.
Restucci. Hey, that works too.
Hey, I have an Uncle Vinny. Come on now,
Vinny. Hey,
Uncle
Vinny.
Vinny back at home,
There's one movie I just looked up. I forgot he was in, and he was great in it. And it was so a role unusual like him. Brawl in Cell Block 19.
Yeah. That's an insane movie.
And
That
and I'm
movie's
thinking,
insane.
how is this going to be a comedy? And he did not act as a comedian in that. He was good.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That's a great. We should do that movie. Let's do
Dungeon
that
Day.
movie.
Yeah, we should.
That's my
Hey,
pick for
Dan,
your
we
birthday.
should.
Hey, Dan.
Okay.
That's my pick for Alan's birthday.
Okay. Well, y'all
Okay.
keep up with that because I'm not. I told y'all my movies, and that was a big accomplishment.
All right. I still got to find one for you. You already saw Dead Ghost. So Red Ghost.
Red Ghost. That's a good movie.
It is a
That's
good movie.
Well, did you see my
Vince Vaughn
movies that I picked?
Yeah. the Night Watch, Day Watch.
So you
I
have you
haven't
watched
seen
them?
them. No, I have not seen them.
Has anybody else?
They're-
I saw Night Watch years ago. I have not seen Day Watch yet.
Rich?
They
They're
watched
Russian.
the one with that's Day Shift. That's the one with Jamie Foxx.
No,
right?
these are Russian movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no! So I saw a different Night Shift. That was with Michael Keaton, right?
It's Day Watch, and Night Watch, and it's 1 and 2. So again, everybody, it's a foreign movie. They're Russian. They're great, but I think they are subtitled or dubbed or
Is it
whatever.
zombie movies or vampires?
Maybe I don't. Why don't
Oh,
you just
you
watch them?
don't
Why don't
wanna
you just
tell
watch
us.
them?
It really is a good. It was. I never read the book. The movie was better than I thought it was going to be. Now that was years ago when it first came out. When I watch it again, who knows?
Well, it's been a while since I watched them. I watched them in the early 2000s, and they were great. And I think I've seen them once or twice since, and I still liked them. So I think y'all will like them, but I don't know. Ash
Now,
has
I
seen
think
them.
we did.
Ash and I. It's so scary for me to say this. We have a similar taste in movies, but I think we're both. I think we're both Gen X kids. So.
Well, Vince Vaughn, didn't we do that movie he did, Freaky, where he's a serial killer and he switches bodies with that?
Actually, pretty good.
that was good.
That was a good one.
That was a good. Yeah, Domestic Disturbance, Rich.
Okay.
That's the one you're thinking about.
He played a great
Domestic Disturbance, and it was Travolta. Yeah, him and Travolta.
Well, maybe for our after the holiday movies, like when we're on that cusp between Christmas and New Year's, we could do Vince Vaughn. Maybe we could pick actors that we just want to watch. And
that's true.
Well,
Snake
Vince Vaughn. I got Cell Block 19.
All right.
That's my choice.
Wait, what? Alrighty then. So, looks like
I don't know what. Yeah.
Cell Block 19. It's a Brawl in Cell Block 19, right? Isn't that the name of it?
Yeah, Brawl. Yeah, Brawl. That's the one Rich was going to grab, Scott.
Yeah, I picked that for Alan's birthday.
Oh, all right. I'll find something else.
Yeah.
Wedding Crash.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will, Scott.
Oh no, I know which Vince Vaughn movie I'm going to pick. Dodgeball.
Oh, no.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say he's going to pick Dodgeball.
I love Rip Torn in that movie so much with the wrenches.
Oh yeah,
Rip Torn is a national treasure.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's one of his best movies, I think. Him and the dude from Arrested Development. He plays that sports announcer on the Ocho. What? Jason Bateman.
Oh,
Jason Bateman's great in that.
That's
and
another
Alan
movie.
Tudyk is the pirate.
Yeah. Have you seen that series with Jason Bateman where it's based on a Stephen King book? It was on, I think it was on HBO. Where there's like
it was a series.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, the series.
You're not talking about Ozark, right?
No.
What? No.
This was it was like something backwards or something.
Yeah, it was it was supernatural like. And the dude that was in Star Wars that plays the Nazi guy in Star Wars, he's English. He played.
Give me a minute. I'll come up with it. Stephen King.
He was in that movie with Brad Pitt. That Brad Pitt crime movie. He played the druggy guy. Gosh.
Which
Outsider.
The Outsider. Yeah. Same time.
They were all Nazis in Star Wars, the Empire.
Oh yeah. The recent one. He's there with Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, I don't watch any of them anymore.
I like Mads Mikkelsen.
Rogue One. He was in Rogue One. He was the main bad guy in Rogue One.
No, I stopped watching them after a while. I just couldn't.
Oh, you got to watch Rogue One. Rogue One's the best of the new ones.
Okay.
Definitely.
So
really
what are we doing next week, kids?
Next week are zombies. We're doing Dance of the Dead and Dead and Breakfast. And episode 4.
Episode 4. All right.
Nice.
Well, that's
The
going to do
Outsider.
it for
Thank
this
you.
week.
Thank you, Ash. It's The Outsider, Hadley.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week, kids, and we will see you same time, same bat channel next week.
That's going to do it for this week's show. For notifications each time the Weird Realities Network goes live, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You can expect fresh weirdness 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week. But before we depart, let me give a special shout out to our incredible patrons, Mike Lewis, Landis Aldana, and Alan Lassiter. We couldn't keep the lights on here at Weird without you. And a very special thanks to our partners that keep Weird Reality spinning. It's you guys who make our weird world go round. And if you're interested in supporting our endeavors, consider joining the Cabal of Weird over at Patreon. And keeping you entertained and bringing you new content is our goal with every cent that you donate. And if you are interested in partnering or sponsoring, be sure to send us an email at weirdrealities@gmail.com. We are always interested in making new friends and creating a new tapestry of strangeness with you. So, until next week, kids, stay weird, you beautiful weirdos.